Alright, here we are. Back at the bench again. Yes, with this little guy. Look at this. Yes, this is Bell & Howell Schools digital multimeter. And not just any digital. It's got tubes in it. Take a look at that. Yep, you can see them in there. Yeah. Nixie tubage. So yeah, this form factor, if you are into Heathkit, this might look very familiar. I mean, it's an aluminum case, but the color scheme and the fonts and everything, this looks really Heathkit, even though it's a Bell & Howell device. And that's revealed on the back, because if you look at the back side, it says that it is, in fact, a Heath. It's model IMD-202-2, series number 04450, the Heath Company. Yeah, this is a Heath kit. Now, I tried to do some research on this. I really don't know anything about this crossover. I'm going to assume that this is rebadged, that this is made by Heath, the Heath Company, and that they must have been selling stuff to other companies. It seemed to suggest in a internet search that these may have been kits that were sold to schools to be done as projects. I don't know if that's true. This would really be advanced. Any kind of kit like this would be advanced, and something like this would be just too expensive to be built by a kid or even a college kid as part of a course. That just doesn't make sense to me. It seems more to make sense that Heath was building test equipment, because they were a test equipment company, that they would have built equipment and sold them under different brands. But it is a Heath. I'm not going to fire it up before I turn it on. I want to open it up first, check for anything catastrophic before I go and plug it in, because it is high voltage and everything. It looks like 4 screws. Always have a screw bin. Very handy. Keep them from getting away from you. Oh, yeah. Self-tappers. Good old sheet metal screws. But the finish, it's got that crinkle finish. That crinkle paint. Very nostalgic. Very 70s. And I'd imagine this is 70s. Even though it's Nixie. They were still using Nixie tubes and stuff through the mid-70s, because it was that weird crossover time. It wasn't really until VFDs took it all over that you really had a new kind of display. Let's see. Oh, where's it? Oh, yep. Okay. Oh. Got a label. Yeah, there's a couple of labels in it. The Heath Company. What is that? That can't be 55. It's not 55. There's another. Okay, there's another one in here. There's another label. This one is 84. Makes sense. I don't know if this service number. So this was serviced in 84, and this other label, 95. That might be, no, it couldn't have been. The Heath Company was out of business. Maybe it is 85, 84, 85. I don't know. Maybe they were servicing it every year. Who knows? Yeah. But inside, I mean, yeah, that is a Heathkit, all right. It's only got 2 tubes in it. Chips, let's see here, 74, 74, 73. They're all dated 73, 74, so yeah, that puts it right in the right spot. Yeah, so like the latest one. So it's 74. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 calibration pods, and they're labeled. Yeah, tells you don't have to have the manual. 0 adjust, DC calibration, yeah. Okay. That's for the ohm meter. What else we got? 200K. So so for every range, they've got a different pot for every range. Yeah, the meg, AC calibration. All right. this is really what I remember. When I went to Heathkit in the late 70s, and when I got my soldering course, if you can call it that, I got my soldering lesson, they handed me a board very much like this. It had the blue undermask set. When you looked at it on the top, it's the blue. It doesn't look blue on camera, but it is like a blue FR4. It's got a faintly like blue tint to it. It's not like the gray, and the blue mask under the copper. But yeah, this blue on blue board, I remember it very distinctly. Yeah, we got notes here on the transformer. Yeah, calibration voltage, 1.918. But yeah, this is clearly not a kit. I mean, this is factory built. They were just building test equipment. Oh, this composite resistors, they're going to be all out of spec now. But yeah, some of these caps are like big film caps, the poly caps. That's huge. What are the value on that? Sir. Oh, 0.47 mic. So yeah. And some gold leaded transistors in here. It's pretty spare no expense. Yeah. Yep. Transistors. And yeah, some precision wire wounds there, which you'd expect for a meter. And of course the Nixies, 2-digit, and a couple of neons. Amperex, yeah, made in Holland, yeah, yep, ZM 1000s, and a couple of discrete neons. Those are actually pretty interesting too. That very long electrodes in there. Does it show up? Yeah, look at the electrodes. They're really long. Everything looks good. I mean, there's only one electrolytic right there. It's 15 volts, 1,000 microfarads. That's a low voltage cap. This 50 volt range. Okay. I guess they're just using the these 0.47s. There's really no high voltage electrolytic for the Nixies. Heathkit was kind of famous for relabeling their integrated circuits so that it just has a part number on it. So you can't tell what, but these two would be the drivers for the Nixies. And then you got high voltage transistors here driving these two neons, so there'd just be signal on this side and then high voltage drivers. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. This should just fire up. I'm not anticipating any major issues. Just gonna put the cover on it. Plug it in. Let's see here. Oh, focus. Hello, focus. What happened to focus? Okay. Yeah, this knob is on. It's supposed to have a look like a bodge. This is supposed to have a little spring clip in it. It looks like someone put some cardboard or something in there. I guess the clip had fallen out, which is pretty typical. And looks like on the shaft there, it looks, well, I can't, it looks like a little smudge of glue. It looks like someone just put a shim and then kind of glued it in place, but now the knob is shrunk, but oh, it'll work. It's fine. That feels a little squishy. Alright, let's go for DC volts. Whoa, whoa! Wild. Oh, there's counters in there. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, of course, yeah, there'd have to be counters because it's... duh. But yeah. Oh, right. Well, we got 2-bidge. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, beauty. Oh, there you go. That's what you want. Okay, let me see here. So, AC volts. Yeah, nice and crisp. There's not a lot of side glow or anything. It's pretty good. I'm going to start it up again and watch the counts. There we go. Oh. Now I don't have any probes in, so it's just okay. I'll just move the decimal point. Okay. I gotta get some probes and let's see here. How do I get zero adjust? Oh, it's interesting. It doesn't have an external zero adjust. Whoa. Whoa. So you can't like. And I don't have the manual for this, so. Alright. Check the leads. There's always a chance whenever you do with a Nixie tube, anything running with Nixie tubes, that you get, you know, high voltage on the probes. But close those out. Okay. Oh, okay. Hey, it's zeroed out. All right. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. That's on the 22. Oh, okay. Zeroed out. All right, well, let me... that's too low a value. It's not going to do in single digits. Well, I got this guy here. K range, so that's going to be Ks, 2Ks, 200K, so 200K, so... See what we get here. Ooh, I like the counting. Oh, is that supposed to represent a 1? 1 over? It's going crazy. 7, 4. Yeah. 90. Man, it needs a cleaning, obviously. Yeah, I think that's supposed to, I think that neon's supposed to be a 1. Carry a 1. That's why it's got the really long. That's interesting. It's just spitting out garbage. All right. Going in my bin of Ellen Bradley's. There's this is 91K. All right, 91K. It's almost certainly not going to be 91K now because these really change values over time. 91K. So we're shooting for 91K. It's still saying 73. Oh, there we go. So I guess if it's under value, rather than it doesn't have a way of saying out of range. So if you go down, it just goes to 73. It just says 73. I don't know if that's a just random number. There we go. 93. It's reading over, but let's compare. With it says 0. Yeah. See now there we go. 73. So now it's 1. So let me try the EEV blog meter. See what we get. That resistor. It's reading 92.4K. 92.4. And oh, I mean it's kind of rounded up, 93. Yeah, so it's ish, ish, 93-ish. If you just needed it rounded to the nearest K, it's bang on. 100K, something in the 100K. 100K, 1 watt, Ellen Bradley, there we go. 96. These should typically read a little under. Yeah. I'm going to have to go over. Oh, here we go. 150. Come on. It's like a barrel full of monkeys. Okay, there we go. Phew. There we go. There's the 1. Is that? Yeah, I guess that needs to. It must have gotten thrown over. Got some heat coming out of there. Stick. Get a stick to move the. There we go. All right. And it looks like there's another neon here, but that's for the over. Oh, so if it's over, that outer one, there is an over light here. That's supposed to come on. All right, there's your one. Okay, so that's definitely the one. Everything's looking good. It's warming up a bit. Warming up. Yeah. It's a nice little meter. I mean, needs a little cleaning, obviously. Might need to be recalibrated, although it does zero out. It's a little funky. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, but it is very cute. Very cute. Yeah. I have to tighten up that little banana clip. Spritz it out. But I really like the way it animates with the counts. I gotta try it on voltages. Ooh, DC volts. Well, I can't use, well, that, I gotta tighten that up to before I'll turn off. But yeah, it works. It works. A genuine Heath Nixie multimeter. Really nice. Really nice. All right. This is cool. I'm glad I got this. I didn't pay a lot for this. I bought it as is. Didn't even know if it worked. But I'm very glad I did. This is really nice. Really nice. All right. How do those tubes display numbers? I did a video about Nixies a long time ago. It is a cold cathode neon plasma display, and all the cathodes are stacked one in front of the other. And there's several different designs about how they put the anode. Sometimes they're in a little mesh cage, and that's the anode. Sometimes it's just a little mesh in the front. And there are some that have a conductive film type thing, like the Panaplexes. They need like 175 volts or so. So it says probably a kit. This does not seem like a kit. This seems like factory built. It just has that look. Yeah, the soldering's too professional. Yeah, I think this is factory built. Heath, even in the kit days, whoa, everything Heathkit sold as a kit you could buy assembled. Everything. And there were some things, like the bigger things like the televisions and oscilloscopes and stuff, you could just buy them. They would just drop ship you an assembled one. But other times, like when I went to the Heathkit store, sometimes the lesser stuff, like the little kits and stuff, someone might want a little piece of kit, but they maybe weren't good with electronics, or they wanted to give someone something assembled. The way I understood it is that the guys, the disgruntled Heathkit guys, they would literally pull a kit and assemble it and then package it and then hand it to the customer. You'd pay a fee for that, but they would build it for you if it didn't come from the factory pre-built. But I think this is a pre-built. Exactly what the Bell and Howell schools is about, I couldn't find any like real reliable information about that. I'd love to find like a manual or some piece of literature that describes the Bell and Howell schools line. I think, and I can't be 100% on this, it seems to me that if this was, since this was 1974, Bell and Howell is a really big company. And I could see if they wanted to get their foot in the door of selling test equipment to technical colleges, Votex, and places like DeVry, these vocational technical schools that you would go to. You'd have the choice of going to Votech or going to regular high school. And I could see them getting in the market of selling equipment with courses. Like not as a kit, but just, they offer a course to a school and they'll offer the test equipment at like a cheap price, so this would be like built down to a cost. And they would offer, we'll give you this technical course that you can teach and we'll provide you with meters, oscilloscopes, parts, whatever. And it seems like a whole package thing. But this particular item, I don't know if maybe they offered this as a kit, but this one seems factory built. Some of the worst and best assembled Heathkit products I've ever seen are kits. Yes, I have exactly the same experience. I've told the story many times that when I got my soldering lesson from the disgruntled and very wiry Heathkit guys, I mean, they were chain smoking, neurotic solder nerds. So they all looked like Hank Williams. If you ever see like old pictures of like Hank Williams, just like just a wiry beanpole, gaunt, pack of Marlboros in their pocket with their pocket protector. The guy who teaching me, and he's trying to teach me the right way and wrong way to solder, he related to me this story that apparently that week or at some point that someone had brought in a kit that didn't work and they didn't get the soldering lesson, and so they got it as a present, but they didn't know how to solder, and they had assembled it and they had clipped all the leads perfectly and all of the joints were perfectly formed and everything. It looked exactly like in the instructions, the way that they show you to get the joint to look like this in the cross section. You don't want it to be blobby. You want it to have a good taper and everything was meticulous, and all the parts were exactly where they needed to be, but it didn't work because the customer had used Elmer's glue to put together the whole kit, and they had, rather than soldering, they had meticulously glued all the joints, and they all looked perfect, but they were white glue. And they had, yes, so yes, you got the gamut with Heathkit. It was a whole thing. Okay, so Mark says Bill and Hal went to Heathkit to get some inexpensive kits put together, and they provided the schools. Probably. I mean, yeah, if you do anything in bulk, it's cheap. It's like pennies on the dollar. If you're a company and you wanted to make a deal with Heathkit, you'd probably commit to getting like 10,000 units made or something like that, or 50,000, and you'd end up getting each one of those at maybe half or 40% of what a kit would cost. It's just how it works. Ballinator says the kit was $79.95 and assembled was $125 for the Heathkit version in 1976. I should have pulled one of my mid-70s Heathkit catalogs. I've got them, here. But I wasn't aware that they had this form factor. I gotta look in there. Alright, well that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all my patrons down on the Patreon, making all these videos possible and all these adventures possible. So thank you to everybody on Patreon. So if you like what I do, consider becoming a patron. Just follow the link in the description. Help support the channel. I will thank you personally. Alright, that's it. I'm Fran. I'll be back at the bench or somewhere else real soon. That's where I work. In the lab. Go berserk. In my lab. That's where I work. That's what you're watching. Friend love. That's what I'm doing. Working at the bench again.